Hey everybody, New Leaf here, and today we are here to talk about our wonderful journeys at Galacon 2024. So many memories made, so many friends encountered, and so many amazing, delicious German things to be had, everybody. Let's begin with this amazing adventure. So this adventure begins at a bus stop because you have to get to the convention first, and I got into the bus. Look at this, it was difficult to take pictures because it was like a billion advertisements, but eventually I had to transition from a bus to a train, and look at this. This was such a packed train. People were standing on top of each other, and yeah, but outside was actually kind of pretty. Look at this is the Rhine and a very dangerous looking cliff, but it is a picturesque drive for the first hour, but that would get replaced eventually with this sort of industrial looking train stop where we had to transition into another train, but that wasn't so easy because we were stuck there for an hour since my oncoming train had delays. Thank you, DB. So we were stuck at this train station, and Luna actually was there with me too, and she was like, Leaf, I do not wish to be on this train anymore. So we exited the train station, and then we, teleported right there. I know this is dangerous because you're not supposed to do magic in front of muggles, but we did it anyway, and so, yeah, here we go. This is how we made it into Weiblingen and the Login Hotel, which was a very nice sight to see, especially because it's like the sunset, so this was almost picturesque as well. There were so many nice sights. But what's even nicer is getting inside and looking at the sweet hotel. Look at this. This is gorgeous right here. And not only that, you have like the windows, so you get to wake up to the sun in the morning, which is the best way. But before the convention, of course, you have to go outside and meet the fellow bronies, and for that we had to go through downtown Weiblingen. Look at this. This looks so pretty, so rural, everybody. But there were also some festivities. Look at this. There was like a little dance competition / celebration, which was nice and interesting to watch, but we had to kind of get going because it was kind of getting dark. But on the way to the con area, but also the Schwaneninsel, you would see a little bit of a park. Look at this. You have this pretty looking river along with a waterfall. You could probably boat through that on the right side. But you also have this pretty view of the sky because of the sunset. But eventually, ponies, we would get to the Schwaneninsel. Look at all these people. Look at all the bronies. There were so many. There were like hundreds of people and plushies and colorful clothing to be worn just over there. It was absolutely amazing. But because I hadn't eaten anything up to this point all day, I had to get in line to the restaurant, and look at this, there's a rainbow dash on the cash register. But I ordered a schnitzel with fries, ketchup, and a Spezi, which is a very, very great combination of flavors. And after eating this, I immediately got back in line again and noticed this cute little filly with the backpack. But why did I get in line? You gotta have dessert, ponies. Here we have some waffles with cream and chocolate syrup. Oh boy, did I feel happy after eating all of that. But after all this food, it was time to explore the many tables there. Look at this, you have this table filled with plushies. There's a Twilight, there's an Applejack, and a blanket too. But everyone had pony merch. Look, there's even this tiny Twilight keychain on someone's bag. And as it got nighttime, you could really see just how many people were there enjoying this special kind of nightlife. Here we have Oculus as well, who got down to the party, ready to have some drinks. Love the motivation. But every pony, after a really long night, we got back to the hotel. Look at how pretty this looks at night. All the lights and everything make it look luxurious in a way. So I went to sleep, and after a very long night, I got woken up by Princess Luna, who, didn't really want to wait anymore because the convention happened. But before you go to the convention, you gotta have breakfast, and you know how we do things at breakfast. So look at this. We have bread rolls. I think there's slices at the bottom right. We have cheese. We have yogurt. We have eggs over here. We have some vegetables. We have sausages. And on this one, we have some jam and Nutella at the right, which I hear is religiously important to the Germans. But me, I got my first plate of food. Then I would get my second plate of food, I would get my third plate of food, and I would get a second bowl of cereal. I think, ponies, I had a decent amount of food to start this day. Oh gosh, you leave. But on the way to the convention, we found interesting sites like this. Look at this. The red symbol or signs there says to not put anything in front of the gate, but the store owners really didn't care about their own sign that much. But as you get closer to the convention, you get to see the park during daytime, which is absolutely pretty and gorgeous. The greenery really is something to see. But the best side of them all is right here. Look at this. This is the convention grounds. This is the Burger Centrum, but I don't think they have burgers. And you can see it, just all the people in line ready to get inside, and so it was time to mingle and listen to the wonderful sounds produced by Vinyl Scratch. Seriously, did you see all those people? There were so many people to get inside. I don't have an official number this time how many people was there, but I'd assume at least like 1,000. But eventually, after the music was over, I ran into Izzy, and he was like, New Leaf, we gotta get inside. And why did we have to go inside? That's because the gates to Galacon had opened finally, and we got to go and invade the convention grounds from the inside. Look at this pretty little table with plushies, with pillows, with tinier pillows. And on this next one, we have an assortment of buttons, stickers, keychains, posters. Going even further, this next one had a bunch of lights that you could set up. You could like plug that in. And I think there's also t-shirts. You see the pony holding the sign. Then on the next table, we got to see a bunch of plushies. And yes, there was many plushies at this convention. So look at that big Luna. But there was also plushies brought by attendees, like this massive Fluttershy, which I think was about the size as the person carrying her. Then over here we have two important banners, the left one being from Galacon 2024, the new one, and on the right we have a banner for Make-A-Wish with their own pony. And like always, all proceeds from the auction would go to them to donate to a good cause. Then moving along to another table of merch, we have some clothes that you could even be getting. Gonna be important later. I'm gonna show all the merch I got at the end, buddies. Then on this next table, we have a convention called Eponifest, which is based in Italy, and we may or may not be visiting them next year. Hey, over here we have another convention, PonyCon Holland, which we're also gonna be visiting. But there's gonna be another convention before that one that we're gonna visit. Hey, a little hint at the end. Then here we have a Mare Fair, which I think is not even in Europe, but in America, I think. And this table has Chiquestria, which is a convention based in the Czech Republic, which I think I've also visited in the past, I think multiple times even. Jeez, I'm old. So we better catch the newest thing, which is the opening ceremony for Galacon 2024. And like always, there was a little bit of a jingle. Listen to the theme of this year's Galacon, ponies. And as you've heard correctly and see correctly, the theme of this year is Vikings. Canni herself traveled there to the land of the Germans and showed us a very German thing, which is the Northern Lights. Really, really nice. I didn't know the Germans were Vikings, but eventually we were introduced to the many guests that were part of this convention. Here you have the community guests running onto the stage. One of the special guests also was the voice for Sunny, and we're gonna meet her later as well. And of course, Make-A-Wish was also an important part of this opening ceremony, but also take a look at the pretty lights that I put into the center here. Those were gorgeous to see. Then we were treated to a very special performance. At the front, you see Ponyphonic to the left and the human at the keyboard. They were accompanied by a veteran at this point who's performed at Galacon 3 times now, and they were an acrobat, I believe. And together, they put up this kind of performance. Look at this. Yeah, that is still super impressive. As someone who's about as acrobatic as an overweight eagle, I would fall off that ring. But next we had Connie herself coming on the stage, also a very important guest. And she officially opened the convention and told us to explore the convention grounds and see what else there is, and so we did. Here we go back out into the realm of the vendor hall. We have plushies. Look at these two Trixies, the rarity. Those are gorgeous. Then going over further, we have a bunch of figurines that look absolutely stellar. Next, we have these wonderful pictures, which are made with 3D art by just like layering things on top of another. Very cool and amazingly done. Then over here we have a brony sign, which is actually based on a town in Poland. Everypony is a real town. I still don't know how they got that sign, but we don't ask these questions. Then moving further, we got to see some more plushies. We have Princess Celestia and Izzy hanging out, enjoying the convention. Good on them. Moving further into the vendor hall, we got to see this armada of stickers. I think they had just about everything on stickers. To the left, you have what looks like Pokemon badges, just about every pony ever. Absolutely wonderful stand. And here we have an absolute highlight, a Viking Fluttershy. I don't know for how much she went away, but by the time we found her, she was sold. I'm presuming this was at least for a figure. Then over here, we have even more plushies. And to the right, look at this, we have some little tiny Rainbow Dash boxes, we have Flufflepuff boxes, and I think that's a Sailor Moon pony to the right. But after browsing all this merch, we got to have a little bit of a break and got to chill at one of the tables. And look at this, you see a lot of flyers from other conventions and meetups, which is really, really nice. And if you ever want to like connect more with the community, get one of those flyers or cards, take them home, and you can probably make a bunch of friends. Then Everypony, after the break was done, we got to see a familiar face. Look at this, the blue carts, the mini plushies. You know it, it is Izzy Spin back at the convention with a lot less plushies this time. But still they were there, and look at the many plushies here. Those are all gorgeous. Then into the first panel we go, and this was about the G5 movie, Everypony. We gotten to see some of the sketches that led up to its creation, but also got to learn about some of the hurdles, like imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is basically like you thinking you're not supposed to be somewhere, even though you've earned your spot there. After overcoming all of that, we got ponies and the birth of Generation 5. We also got to see a bunch of the artwork that went into it as well. Look at these wonderful models as well. And he said the most important thing, though, was to never forget the fun when creating something this big, which is very, very true. After the panel, we ran into the menu for the restaurant there, and seriously, don't use Google Translate to translate your menu. It's not a good thing. But Princess Celestia and Izzy were on the case and sat on it, so ponies didn't see. But what I did see was the gaming room, and I immediately went there. And look at this, familiar face, Battle Gem Ponies, which we've played a few times on the channel and followed for many years, was there too, and we got to play a little. Look at this. Ponies, look at this. We're playing it at the Galacon itself. Look at this. It is Battle Gem Ponies. Oh boy. It's such a nice thing to encounter projects that you followed at conventions and seeing them grow. But you also got to see new games. Look at this. There's a new one with a 3D model. Almost looks a little bit like Ambient White. Then of course we have an old favorite, which is Super Smash Bros. But the best game of all, you know it. It is my little karaoke, and immediately decided to join the ponies and sing a little. Then over here we have Stray, which is modded to have ponies in it. You can watch a series of that on the channel right here. We're playing it as we speak. Then moving even further, we have another familiar face. To the right we have Mega Spell, which is a new Fallout game on the right, but on the left we have a new game which has Pinkie Pie and some new commands. It is still very much in development, but it is going to be something we're going to take a look at. But the next thing I took a look at was Torben's room. He has so much merch inside. Let this video speak for itself, ponies. Did you see all this? There were blankets, there were pillows, there were buttons, there were pants, there were coasters, there were carrying bags, there were money storing pouches. There was so much going on. Look at this. He was even storing some of it under the table. He just had that much with him. But after potentially buying something there, I got to sit down and got to chat with Opaline, who said that the tree that she was stuck inside kind of got a little bit smelly, so she got outside a little bit and enjoyed the convention, and she didn't steal any ponies' cutie mark, which is great. Then over here we have another stand for merch. Look at the plushies, and of course the Izzy with the tennis ball got my attention. But what even more so got my attention was this massive nightmare mood, which literally almost touched the freaking ceiling. Then I would go into the next panel, which was about animation by the Double W brothers, how to do it fast. You know, it's these ponies. You've probably seen them on YouTube. They make a lot of pretty animations like these. And they taught us a little bit about how to do it fast, but also how to like get into the thing for those of us who've like never touched it before. And you know, it can take a long time, and if you take too much time, you'll end up something like this, so you gotta speed it up. And for that, they taught us about the golden triangle, which is something that exists in business as well. And basically it tells us that you can only have 2 of those things at any given time. But they also tried to tell us about good versus a lot, about quality versus quantity. It's very important to find some sort of middle ground there. And the enemy is perfection, because perfection steals time, and time is vital, every pony. And an example they gave us was this. You see the left and right pictures of Rarity, but the right one is a lot more detailed, but in animation, you might not notice those details, so you can, you know, just do the left one, every pony, and save a little bit of time, and it'll still look pretty. And he said, important thing is that content is king. Like, you wanna convey messages with your content. That's the most important thing. And above all, you'll need to practice if you've never done something like this before. You'll need to practice to go from little sketch to wonderful, beautiful, colored little pony, and before long, you're gonna be making a Twilight's left, right, front, and center, which is a sentiment I can get behind. Another hint that we were given is to sketch fast. Like, when you have an idea, draw it really quickly before you'll forget about it again, and make sure it is on paper so you can then work with it. Then they got into the nitty-gritty part, the animation, where they taught us a little bit about keyframes, which is something that you can do in, I think this is Photoshop that they did this in, and it looks something like this if you put keyframes together, every pony. And I think this was just like 5 of them, and it was really interesting to see what goes into an actual animation. It looked simple, but I don't know if I'll be able to reproduce that, ponies. Don't quote me on that. And the final thing they told us is in-betweeners. Like, if you're going from one frame to another, you're gonna have to put like little mushy things in the center so it looks like a smoother transition, every pony. Then after the panel ended, we got to have a little bit of water and see the many flyers and handouts from other conventions as well, which was nice to see. So if you're going for other conventions and you want more, here's a few ideas. Then ponies, I got to see Izzy. Look at the sparkles, every pony. Seriously, that plush is super adorable. Look at the little pink feathers, and of course the statue. They even have like the little bracelet on her hooves. The detail on this is amazing. Then over here we have this changeling who got in trouble, and he had to put up his hands to make sure he didn't have anything was supposed to have. Then over here we have Izzy, another Izzy, who was hanging out on the stairs unicycling something. Then over here we have an entire line of plushies. Just look at how many there is. I was on my way to the best activity of them all. Once again, it is karaoke, every pony. But here we sang it with multiple people. Listen to this. Today, dance, feel the rhythm. Every pony's got the moves. Dance, feel the rhythm. Every pony move your hooves. Ow! Na 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 na. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake loose. Bust a hoop, show me your pony moves. Seriously, my little karaoke, put this song onto the actual game. It's still not there yet, and we need it. Moving on, ponies. I went outside to catch a breath of fresh air, and I ran into this sign, which I thought was a trap. It was actually a trap, because if you hugged the pony, you had to also sign it. then, intimidated by him, went back inside. A little scary hugging. I found this line of even bigger plushies. Seriously, ponies, there was just plushies all over the convention of all shapes and sizes. But it was actually on the way to the stage because it was starting to get dark, and it's dark, that means you gotta party. And so we took a look at some of the acts on stage. The first one was Electrocaplosion. Next we have Ponyphonic, which is absolutely amazing. We've sang their songs so many times in karaoke. Ponies like their songs, and so do I. But listen to the many things that they had going on. Did you hear the background? Ponies would literally be joining in to sing along with them. It was such great energy. But all that energy eventually tuckered me out, and I had to go outside to get some more food at the Schwaneninsel. Their shop got a little smaller, but it was nice because it was a shorter line. And this time would have this. This piece of plastic would eventually transform into a currywurst, which actually wasn't a currywurst, it was just a bunch of ground beef, every pony. But after a very filling meal, I would go back into the gaming room and enjoy some advice from Twilight, but also play this game that we've played on the channel again and show some ponies some tricks about how to, cheese the game. That's what we do. But it was also back for even more My Little Karaoke. And down here you see the karaoke machine, which they use to select all the songs, which is super nostalgic. And I think I was there all the way to the end till past midnight, and eventually we had to get outside. And look at the night sky, look at how beautiful it is. Luna was very, very happy. And back at the hotel, I would go to bed, and then the next day begins with breakfast yet again. Look at this first plate, what a very glorious one. But I cannot get over the beautiful selection at this hotel. But eventually, ponies, I would get a second bowl of cereal and would have probably half of these eggs and a good chunk of the bread rolls as well. And after having enough food for what feels like 3 people, I went back outside and headed to the convention grounds. But this time it was much more sunny than the previous days, but it also was really, really warm. You could spontaneously combust outside if you weren't careful. But this time we got to see the convention grounds again with more sun, and it was super beautiful. Once again, everyone was in line ready to get inside. But before we did that, we had to praise Princess Celestia for the amounts of sun that we had. Seriously, I don't know where this human got the horn, but you're probably gonna have to return that one, otherwise you get cursed. Getting inside, we got to see even more merch. This human has a bunch of clothes, they have pants, they have sweaters, and also little flags and blankets in the background. Then this next stand had a bunch of tiny plushies, and here were some bigger plushies and a very big Lauren Faust plushie, which is important later. But it was on my way to stand in line with a few humans, and what were we standing in line for? A workshop, every pony. This was a badge workshop where you had to draw and then print your own badge. We were given pencils, and so eventually I would start drawing again, the video we did a while ago, which went kind of horribly. And then I did a sketch, I would continue sketching, I would fill out the sketch and write my name on it, and then I would begin the lining, and then I would finish even more drawing. But then, ponies, this was the final product because we ran out of time, and so maybe I'm gonna have to finish this in a separate video or just just leave it as is, ponies. After the workshop, I went outside to wait in another line, but what did we wait in line for? I waited in line for Sunny Star Scout and to get a picture with her, and I got her signature. Alright, story time. So, I showed her a picture of the alicorn smoothie that I made on the channel, and she really liked it and wanted the recipe, every pony, but I also gave her one of my buttons, and she really, really liked it, pony. She was pretty hyped. And so was I, and after the signature session, I took the hype right into the karaoke room and was back to singing with everyone else. But I also encountered a zebra guest there, which I don't even think was there on the previous day. I don't know what he was up to, but he was having a good time, and that's all that matters. Then moving along, I saw a special thing in the convention grounds, which is a very long piece of paper, and everyone could draw something on it. Look at how big this is. And of course, I had to put my little flair on it. But moving along, I ran into Izzy again, and she was absolutely having a good time. Then over here we had Princess Ember, who was also really happy to be here again, and of course I gave her a hug. Seriously, ponies, if you see fursuits, you have to hug them. That's an unwritten rule. But after being inside a bunch, I went outside again, enjoying the sun. We saw some griffins, and the zebra from earlier was outside, and we were watching some buckball every pony, which is basically volleyball and tennis had a child. Buckball would be that kid every pony. We also got watched over by a drone, which was taking pictures. And then came one of the best moments of this convention. We went over to this area where they had cans so you could drink, but most importantly, you could make noise with them, like Formula 1 cars. And listen to this, every pony.
Experience.
And the way this works, you actually bend your cans and then you blow into them, and that allows you to make those sounds. But eventually, we finished making sounds and we got to sign a flag for being successful Can Turismo racers, which was an excellent way to end the spontaneous activity. And this was also spontaneous. We had a picture of Anne and Phillies that were at the convention, and I think literally it felt like everyone had one of these. But we had to rush because the convention was coming to its final stretch, and that begins with the charity auction, every pony. And look at this table over here. All of those things that you see, those are gonna get auctioned away at some point throughout the last 3 hours of this. So we had to, of course, also bring out the mascot because they had to oversee that everything was going accordingly. And so it was up to Peridodo and Dusty Cat to make sure this auction would go smoothly. And like always, Make-A-Wish was gonna receive the proceeds, and they told us a little bit about their cause, how they make the wishes of children come true. And like always, I'm gonna go over the highlights of things that were auctioned. For instance, we have this drinking horn that was auctioned away. Over here we have Paz containers with Sunny, and I think that was Pip. Then next we have this plushie of Candy's brother, I believe. And Peridota would point at a lot of people, and if she pointed at you, that means you were bidding on something. It was pretty exciting. Then we have this little figurine of Sunny, which was signed by Jenna Warren. Then we have this little wall art decoration that was auctioned away. There was 2 of them even, it was pretty. Then we move over to one of the absolute highlights of this auction. This is a Lauren Faust plushie, which is also signed by her, one of the last of its kind, and it went away for over 2,000 euros, ponies. Then over here we have a Rainbow Dash biker jacket, absolutely amazing stuff. Then we have tiny little plushies of the mascots of this convention. Then we have a shield with the sun on it, but it's also very practical in case you ever get invaded by Vikings, every pony. And this thing went away for 1,000, I believe. Very, very pretty. But then we get into the first crazy thing of this auction. You see this? The water bottle was up next, every pony. I think Perry drank it, and so people could get this empty water bottle and potentially make a clone. Up next we have cognac glasses that come with a bit of a story. So these were glasses specifically made for VIPs to drink out of after conventions. Very, very nice story. Then next we have a table which has some beautiful drawings on it, but then we come over to another one of the big things that was auctioned away. This plushie of Prince Whatever went away for 6,000, every pony, but it was only the second most expensive thing on this list. This is already a crazy auction on its own. Then next we have some beautiful art pieces donated by Autumn's Fur. And then it was time for a bit of a break, and I got to see Izzy spin again, but this time it was just all sprouts. I don't think any pony wanted them. But it was nice to see the convention slowly winding down, vendors starting to take down their stalls and getting this building ready for the next day, because I think this is like a governmental building, so it needed to be unponied before the next day. But going back into the convention, we had yet another table going away. This one had a bunch of pony drawings as well. Then over here we have a Fanta lighthouse, which works as a lighter, and you can like actually light things. It's a way to keep the meme alive. Then over here we have another highlight. This was a handcrafted wooden art piece that also played music, every pony. Listen to this. But yes, this was inspired, of course, by Lullaby for a Princess as well. So this was such an amazing thing, and I think this went away for multiple thousands as well, rightfully deserved so. Then we got the special guest of honor into the craziness of signing water bottles and auctioning them away. Oh, I wonder what they thought of this convention, ponies. Then next we had this big banner from earlier where everyone got to draw, including me. But just look at how big this thing is, and it's 3 people even hold the damn thing. Then next we have the Brony sign, which got auctioned away. Very interesting still. We still couldn't solve how they got this one, and I don't think the person wanted to say anything. Then over here we have a Connie Chibi plushie. And here we go over to another unexpected auction item. Look at this. You see the boat? Also got auctioned away. This is where we started to get into let's auction everything territory. Then here we have the 2 banners from Make-A-Wish and Galacon at from the very beginning, which got auctioned away as well. Next, we would move on to the highlight, which is auction away Perry's hat, but this time she got bailed out because it was delayed for a couple of minutes because some pony had a better idea, and that is auction away this table. And it was kind of an empty and blank table with no legs, but Dusty Cat was like, let's do something about it. And so people were invited to sign this table and fill it with life, and now it was ready to be auctioned away. What a great thing. But then it was time to stop stalling and go back to auctioning Perry's hat away, which went away for 7,000 bits, every pony. What an interesting thing, and this hat even got a little bit of an upgrade. Look at this. But eventually everything came to a close and everyone got to tally the amount of bits that were donated, and it came down to a total of 42,000, which I think was an all-time record compared to last time even. And all of this went to Make-A-Wish, and I'm pretty sure this is gonna make many kids' wishes come true. What a great cause for a great event, every pony. And then comes the worst part of the convention, the closing ceremony. We have to say goodbye. But it's also a great moment to show your appreciation for the people that make it happen. Over here, once again, we have the many community guests. Then, of course, we have the organizers who make the whole thing possible, who are like planning this for a whole year. And then, of course, you have the backbone of the whole thing, which is the volunteers, the blue shirts. I think there were 50 plus at least people on the premises making sure everything went smoothly. And we got to send everyone off with a lot of positive energy. Listen to this, ponies.
Galacon, yeah!
What an absolutely amazing way to bring this convention to a close. But after the convention, you got to go outside, chat with all the many people and friends that I made across this weekend. There were so many new faces I've met, but before you get to officially go, it's group photo time. Look at all the people that were lined up for this group picture. It was so many people. But eventually I had to say goodbye to every pony, and here I got a very cool picture to just show how many people were at these convention grounds as they slowly poured towards me. What a beautiful shot. Right next to the beautiful waters of this river that we were standing on. And I was debating to go to Equestria through the portal early, but I was like, you know what, New Leaf? You could eat and hang out some more with these humans, and so I did. And that meant I would have some more food as well at the Schwaneninsel. This time we had a Hacksteak with fries, which was super delicious. And I would just like let the night dwindle down, hang out with more ponies, have beers, and most importantly begin winning against the menu again as we started to make the place run out of things again. Good times, every pony. But I also saw a shooting star, every pony. Look at this, you see this tiny speck at the left side? That was a shooting star that I seen just there. This was cool. But eventually, It got late and I wanted to get it home, so I said goodbye to every pony, but Luna wanted to make a special way for us to get home, so she raised the moon, and before I knew it, ponies, the moon was pulsing, and before long we were back in Equestria, every pony, and that concludes my journey at Galacon 2024, but this isn't complete until I show you all the loot in the outro, every pony. Oh boy. And here we are, every pony. What an interesting weekend to now call a memory, every pony. But let's take a look at this loot that we've gotten. So we're gonna go from the top. We have Izzy pants that you see there. They're on the Izzy pants. You see there's a little bit of a sticker there that is new. Then on the left side we have a Izzy card. Then moving further down the left side we have a New Leaf sketch and a signature by Ponyphonic, which is amazing. Thanks to Melodic for poking that at me. Then to the right we have the unfinished badge, which, let's face it, that's never going to get finished. We're just going to keep it as is. Then we have a Rainbow Dash sticker. We have a mirror, every pony, with the green Izzy cutie mark thing. It says best pony inside. Then we have the Epona Fest flyer. Now ponies may be wondering, if the flyer costs nothing. Well, the ticket to Epona Fest does, and with that I announce my next convention for next year already. Then we have the plush leaf that I found, and of course we have the signature from Sunny. Then I have the lanyard and the little con badge thingy, the con guide. And I believe that is an amazing haul, every pony. Not a lot, but ponies, you know we're traveling, and when I travel, that's when I drop a lot more loot, every pony. Wait, does that make me sound like an NPC? I don't know. Either way, ponies, next convention, very likely to be UK PonyCon 2024. Other conventions that I'm looking at, PonyCon Hall in 2024 as well, and since I already have a ticket for Epona Fest 2025, pretty good chance that one's happening too. Alright, ponies, but I suppose with that, I thank all you lovely ponies so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye, and remember, ponies, travel. You'll make the best memories when you're out of your comfort zone, every pony.